Welcome back to the channel. A few of you may have seen a recent video that I did ranking all of the American Express cards from top to bottom, and today I want to do the same thing but with Capital One. This video is going to help cut through the noise and the marketing to look at Capital One's most popular credit cards to see what is actually good. So Capital One has three categories of personal credit cards. They are cashback cards, co-branded cards, and their travel lineup of credit cards. I'll be ranking these cards within those categories, but first, two notes before I get started. The first note is that Capital One creates multiple versions of essentially the same card. For example, the Quicksilver Rewards card, there are 4 different Quicksilver Rewards versions. I will only be ranking the main one and the most popular one and not going through all the different tiny variations within that specific lineup of card. If you're looking for one of those more specific versions, this video will still be really helpful to see where it ranks generally, and then you can do more research into your specific version of the card and what the difference is. The second note is that these are my rankings based on which creations Capital One has made that are most valuable for the majority of people out there. You specifically may be able to take advantage of 1 or 2 of these cards on the list in a situation that you use and can get a ton of value out of it. But if the card is just kind of plain bad for the majority of people out there, I'm not going to rank it high on this list. I'll put all the links down below for every single card so you can continue to do more research on these after this video is over. Now, for the cashback category of credit cards, we're going to start with the Capital One Quicksilver Rewards credit card. The Capital One Quicksilver Rewards is Capital One's flagship cashback credit card. You can turn on the TV and you'll see Samuel L. Jackson flying everywhere in commercials telling you just how good this card really is. But is it actually as good as Capital One wants you to believe? Well, for starters, it earns 1.5% cash back on every single purchase you make, with no limits on how much cash back you can earn. It offers a pretty typical sign-up bonus of $200 after spending $500 on the card within your first 3 months. The Quicksilver Rewards is one of the most straightforward credit cards in Capital One's lineup and just in general. It comes with all the standard protections that a credit card should offer, including extended warranties, $0 fraud liability, and travel accident insurance as well. However, the biggest weakness in this card is it actually falls short of how much you should expect the earnings rate to be. A standard baseline for a cashback credit card should be a 2% redemption rate. At 1.5% back, there's no reason to go with the Capital One Quicksilver over something like the Fidelity 2% cashback Visa or the Citi Double Cash card. It's a fairly basic beginner card, and because it does fall short in the main area that it should do best, I'm putting this card right into the C tier. Our next credit card in the cashback category is going to be the Capital One SavorOne Rewards card. However, before I introduce the SavorOne Rewards card, I want to take a brief moment of silence as recently Capital One has discontinued the Savor card. With only a $95 annual fee on a card that earned 4% cash back on dining and 3% back on grocery stores, this was an elite earning card, which obviously doesn't exist. However, the card that got left behind, the SavorOne Rewards card, is still very much so worth talking about. This card earns 5% cash back on hotels and rental cars purchased through Capital One Travel, 3% cash back on grocery stores, dining, entertainment, and streaming, and 1% on everything else. The bottom line with the SavorOne Rewards card is at a $0 annual fee. This card earns tons of points in categories that are critically important to most everybody out there. It also offers a very easily achievable welcome bonus to boost your cash back right from the beginning. However, the card doesn't stop there. The Capital One SavorOne Rewards card can take its cashback currency and either redeem that for cash back, or if you have a card from Capital One that earns miles, transfer your cashback rewards at a 1 cent per 1 mile ratio over to a card that earns miles and then use that cash back instead for travel redemptions. This then opens up the door for you to take your SavorOne earnings and redeem them for much more value for travel rewards. That's the sole reason why the Capital One SavorOne Rewards card, combined with one of the venture travel cards that we'll talk about later, make up one of the most powerful credit card duos that exist today because of the earnings rates and the categories they earn in, the $0 annual fee, and the ability to have a ton of flexibility in what to do with those rewards. This card belongs solidly in the S tier of credit cards. Finishing up our first category of cards are the Platinum MasterCard and the Platinum Secured MasterCard. These cards are both essentially identical, with one being a secured card for rebuilding your credit and the other being a credit card reserved exclusively for those with fair level credit. Both of these cards have no annual fee, and they actually also don't earn any rewards, so they kind of don't belong in the cashback category, but there's really nowhere else to put them on this list. The main thing to know about the Platinum MasterCard is that it requires no deposit, where the Platinum Secured MasterCard requires either a deposit of $49, $99, or $200 to get a $200 initial credit line. These cards will give you an automatic credit line review after 6 months. The main purpose of having these cards is not to hold on to them for a long time, but simply long enough to get your credit score moving in the right direction. Because of that, and that as soon as you can get rid of this card, it's probably the best thing in general for you to start climbing the credit card ladder elsewhere. These cards are landing in the D tier category. Now, let's launch into one of the weirdest sections of credit cards I've ever reviewed, the Capital One co-branded credit card category. Inside this section, you're gonna find cards that are absolutely terrible, and also some really unique ones that may fit your situation that you've just never known existed. By the way, if you want me to do a breakdown further on any one of these credit cards, you can subscribe to the channel and also leave a comment below telling me which one you'd like a little bit more of a specific detailed review on. We're gonna begin with the REI Co-op MasterCard. This is a $0 annual fee credit card, which earns 5% back on REI purchases and 1.5% back on every other purchase. It also has a few unique benefits packaged inside, including double credit card rewards during yearly events, an annual $50 account credit when used to the purchase of REI sponsored classes, and it also offers a $100 REI gift card, which is essentially a sign-up bonus granted to you after making your first purchase outside of REI stores within 60 days of opening the card. Now, what I'll say about this card is it's quite obviously a rewards card built for people who are in love with REI. No matter which category you're earning in, whether the 5% in-store or 1.5% out, the rewards that you earn are locked into using them for purchases at REI. I will say for most people out there, you're going to be better off going with a different credit card anyways. For example, the US Bank Cash Plus Visa Signature Card earns 5% cash back on 2 categories, one of which could be sporting goods like REI, 2% cash back on one everyday category, and 1% cash back on everything else. And of course, the cashback rewards there would be more flexible than only being able to spend your rewards points on REI purchases. I'm gonna put this credit card in the E tier category. The next card I'm going to talk about is actually a group of 4 cards, which are all the exact same. It's the Pottery Barn Key Rewards, the West Elm Key Rewards, the Williams Sonoma Key Rewards, and the Key Rewards Visa. If this is confusing to you, think that these are the same card, but titled differently with a different card art on the front. It's sort of like one of those combo gift cards that you get at Christmas from your aunt or uncle. It's like a Longhorn Steakhouse, Olive Garden, Yard House, all combined into one, and you can spend it at whichever restaurant you like. These cards, and I'm actually gonna just call it this card because they are truly all the same, earn 10% back in rewards within the first 30 days of account opening, and then 5% back at any of those stores in the network. It also earns 4% back in grocery stores, food and delivery and restaurants, but not fast food restaurants, strangely, and 1% back on all other purchases. It has a few benefits like 12-month promotional financing at 0% APR, a $25 birthday reward, and free standard shipping from Williams Sonoma. The massive limit is that these rewards can again only be redeemed within the family of stores that these cards operate for. It's a lot to take in, I know, and at first I was gonna dump this card down at the bottom, but the more I think about it and the more I see the type of shopper that could use this card and the specific stores being kind of high-end home supplies and home decor, you could really do some damage with 10% back as an earning category within your first 30 days of opening the card. Not to mention a super unique category of 4% on grocery stores, restaurants, and food and delivery, which is a super high spend area for the vast majority of people out there. Therefore, for me, it falls into the C tier as a quite average credit card, but some real strengths if you think you could be a good fit for what it brings to the table. For the next two credit cards, let's head outside for the Cabela's and the Bass Pro Shops credit card from Capital One. These cards, like the previous batch I mentioned, are the exact same, and they earn interchangeably at both Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops. They have a $0 annual fee, and there are 3 versions of each card based on how much annual spend you put on them. The classic card earns 2% points back with no annual spend requirement. The silver card earns you 3% points back with a $10,000 annual spend requirement. And the black card earns 5% points back with a $25,000 annual spend requirement. They all earn 1% points back on everything purchased outside of Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops. This card comes with a $50 sign-up bonus after making a qualifying purchase, which I'll tell you from reviewing tons of credit cards outside of Capital One even, that is very, very small. I really dislike these cards. I don't like the tiered spending requirements to elevate your percent back. Again, the US Bank Cash Plus Visa card is going to be a good substitute card for the vast majority of people considering getting either of these two cards. Since this is such a limited use card with poor rewards that are locked into both of those stores, I'm putting these cards into the F tier. The very last co-branded credit card we're gonna talk about is the BJ's One and the BJ's One Plus MasterCard. These cards are automatically assigned to you when you apply based on what membership level you are at BJ's. If you're a standard member, which is the BJ's Club card at $55 a year, you will get the standard BJ's MasterCard. If you're an elevated member, which is the BJ's Club Plus membership at $110 a year, you'll be automatically assigned to the BJ's One Plus MasterCard. The standard BJ's One MasterCard gets you 3% back on most purchases, 1.5% back on everything else, and 10 cents a gallon off of gas. The BJ's One Plus MasterCard bumps that up to 5% back on most purchases, 2% back on everything else, and 15 cents off each gallon of gas. With no spending requirement and the gas discount included, the BJ's One Plus MasterCard is, in my opinion, the card that really makes the difference here. Because it is so difficult to get enhanced credit card rewards at wholesale clubs, for some people, this card actually might be a winner. I'm putting the standard BJ's One MasterCard in the D tier category, and I'm putting the BJ's One Plus MasterCard into the C tier category because it's just unique and there are some high elevated earnings within that card that you could capture if you're the right fit. Finally, we have entered, in my opinion, the most exciting category of Capital One. And we have 3 different Capital One travel cards to break down for you today. Out of the Venture family of cards, let's see what is actually good. We'll start off with the $0 annual fee SavorOne Rewards card. This card earns 5x back on hotels and rental cars purchased through Capital One Travel. It then earns 1.25x miles on everything else. Other than the standard purchase benefits, it really doesn't have anything else to speak of. When I look at this card, I really just see Capital One creating a card that's really influenced to get you up to the next category of cards in their family, the 2 that we'll talk about next. The fact that you earn only 1.25x miles on every other purchase with the SavorOne Rewards card really makes it a lackluster card. You'd be better off going again for a standard cashback card and just taking that cash back and using it to spend on travel. Because of this, I have to put this in the D tier. Let's look at the SavorOne Rewards card though. At a $95 annual fee, does this credit card do any better itself? This card now earns 2x back on everything else, and it still earns the 5x back in hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. It also offers one big benefit in a $100 credit towards TSA PreCheck and Global Entry, some standard protections that all good travel cards should offer, including rental car damage coverage. What makes this card really good though is that for only a $95 annual fee, the standard sign-up bonus that comes with this card is 75,000 miles. And right after I'm releasing this video for just a short period of time longer, you're also getting an additional travel bonus on top of that. So check my link below to see what offer you're qualified for and if that's still available at the time that you watch this. Because of its tiny annual fee, big bonus, and solid earnings rate, I'm putting this card squarely into the A tier category, which means that with only one card left, this is Capital One's last chance to make their stamp on the travel game with the Capital One Venture X. The Venture X Rewards card comes in with a hefty $395 annual fee and is Capital One's premium travel credit card offering. This card earns 10x back in hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel, 5x back on flights booked through the same portal, and 2x back on all other purchases. It also offers a whole slew of benefits, starting with a $300 travel credit. It offers 10,000 bonus miles every account anniversary. It offers lounge access to Capital One Lounges, Priority Pass, and Plaza Premium Lounges, which give you at least about 50 lounges here in the United States that you can access. The biggest thing to know about this card is that whether you consider it a premium travel credit card or sort of a semi-premium travel card, it still comes out to a $5 effective annual fee in the positive just from taking essentially one trip a year. That's because the $300 travel credit, in my opinion, is one of the easiest travel credits to get use out of. And the 10,000 bonus miles essentially is a $100 bonus every year from holding the card. This completely wipes away that annual fee, plus you get the other benefits like the Global Entry, TSA PreCheck credit, the lounge access, and all of these Visa Infinite travel protections that come standard when you book on the card. I personally value these a ton. I've said that this is my favorite travel credit card that I use. It's brought so much enhancement to the 5 to 6 trips that I take a year, and I don't see a world in which I would ever cancel this credit card given its current lineup of benefits. Now, I will note the Capital One transfer partners aren't the best, and you can certainly check out this video after we're done with these rankings to see the things I've loved and the things I've hated about this card. However, there are no negatives that would take this card out of the S tier for me, so that's exactly where I'm putting it. Let me know what you think down below, and if you're still struggling about which card is best for you after this video, go check out my credit card consulting link down below in the description, and we can connect for free to help you with your own wallet setup.